2018 Mercedes-AMG GT Roadster Car Review. It's easy to get excited by the Mercedes-AMG performance car aimed at the Porsche 911. But it can often be difficult to wrap your face around the Mercedes-AMG GT lineup. First there were the GTS, that was followed by an entry-level, known as GT. Then came additional bookend, the most notably off-the-line GTR, as well as the race car, which gets no name in any respect beyond the class often it competes in, Mercedes-AMG GT3. Then came the inevitable GT convertible, the GTC, which looked like there was positioned as being the roadster complement towards the GTS coupe, until it turned out announced that there is a GTC coupe also. Naturally, there's fashionable non-convertible. There's no word while on an R convertible, although there has to be four-door model from AMG badged like a GT that almost definitely will be obtainable in many, totally, on the aforementioned trim levels. When discussing these options with the spouse or financial manager, do not forget that there are GTS and C coupes and convertibles, but Mercedes also makes S and class coupes and convertibles, for a wide cost range. Employ specifics and vagaries as important to obtain a blessing to your desired derivative. The good points of 2018 Mercedes-AMG GT Roadster. Immediate power delivery makes big speed easy. Stupefying stability ensures big speed is not difficult to maintain. The bad points of 2018 Mercedes-AMG GT Roadster. A touch snug for individuals and cargo. Irrational pie. As confusing as this all can seem, it's everything you do when chasing the 911. You slice your pie thin and add a great number of layers, spin-offs, and special editions. The GTC's first has already been announced, that it begins to resemble a pie a few minutes after it absolutely was served to an unsupervised toddler. Or a model in the solar system that makes up at least 3 more dimensions versus the average human is cognizant of. Or the frenzied search for money, 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 money. At any rate, we've got driven 2 more slice branch wormholes in the space-time pie, the GT Roadster and GTC Roadster. Weight gain compared to the coupes is minimal, just 120 approximately pounds inside GT in support of about 75 pounds inside the C, as outlined by Mercedes. A trunklet of carbon fiber composite offsets some with the gain. The Roadsters get additional bracing within the dashboard as well as the rear bulkhead, a rear tower brace, and reinforced sills. The result is an automobile that not once inside our drive around central Arizona shuddered you and reminded us it absolutely was a convertible, except after we realized our faces were assuming the texture of pork cracklins. Luckily, the most notable raises or lowers within 11 seconds. It accelerates to 31 miles per hour, hot stats. Both versions faithfully track their coupe siblings. For the GT, this means 469 horsepower and 465 lb-ft of torque from your twin-turbocharged 4.0-liter V8 rooted to your rear-mounted 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transaxle. For the GTC, the 8 pumps out 81 more horses, 550 in total, and 502 lb-ft of torque. The C borrows numerous pieces from your lunatic GTR coupe, a great deal of it concentrated inside back half on the car. The C shares with all the R its wider rear fenders, rear steering system, taller first and shorter 7th gears, taller final drive ratio, and electronically controlled limited slip differential. Both drop tops borrow the grille shutters from the most notable dog's front fascia, as the GTC also provides the R's dynamic engine and transmission mounts, which vary their stiffness, lessening it to isolate the occupants in the thrashing in the drivetrain's mass or firming around better control load transfer during aggressive driving. Like the coupe, the AMG GT Roadster is snug inside. Pop the hood and it's obvious why. The traditional AMG engine cover, signed through the engine builder, of course, is in front of them at the front in the bay. But on second glance, you understand that the cover isn't actually concealing the engine. It covers the radiator and coolant overflow tank, plus assorted hoses and ducting. The turbos poke up behind the coverage, the location where the engine sits well aft in the front axle centerline. Viewed as being a whole, the exact engine and misplaced cover provide the impression of your V16 as well, rather more exotic when compared to a turbo V8. Not that this V8 doesn't generate a good amount of excitement. The turbos dull its soundtrack somewhat, even so the exhaust supplies lots of pops on overrun, plus the thrust is undeniable. Throttle mapping varies with all the driving mode, Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus, along with a race mode within the C, but even at its most relaxed, the engine's solution is immediate. Figure for the GT hitting 60 miles per hour in only 3.2 or possibly even longer seconds, with all the C needing about 3.0 seconds. GTC drivers will appreciate that model's simplified launch control activation, whereby an old-fashioned brake-a-track approach, left foot about the brake, the best mashing the gas, frees the engine to rev to whatever speed the motorist chooses with all the shift paddles. Then just step out with the brake, the clutch dumps, along with the car is finished. Stuck like glue. That rearward positioning from the engine does wonders for that GT's handling, that's simply stupefying. The GT is imperturbable, constantly goading its driver to penetrate corners faster, accelerate earlier and harder, and brake later. The stoppers are firm, progressive, and tireless. And the GT is daringly neutral, particularly together with the C's rear steering, which adds as much as 1.5 numbers of toe in either phase together with the front wheels above 62 miles per hour or opposite them at lower speeds. A lighter lithium-ion battery plus a magnesium radiator support the aforementioned, also common towards the base Roadster, shift the C's weight distribution rearward. Locating the occupants up to now aft from the body amplifies the sense of rotation, although neither car ever feels from sorts. And as the GTC offers additional amounts of damper firmness, and its most aggressive setting is notably stiffer than both its as well as the GT's default mode, none is ever harsh. It is an effective apex duster as well as a comfortable tourer. You'd better pack light, however, because trunk is rather tight and there's little interior storage. In terms of people space, the GT lands between your Jaguar F-Type for the low end and also the roomier 911. Both versions on the GT Roadster will likely be in US dealers with this fall, but Mercedes has yet to announce pricing for either. Figure about the entry-level car starting around $130,000 and also the C reaching into your $160,000. At least from the financial sense, the hierarchy you can see.